Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1:06 on a Saturday afternoon. You know what that means? It means that I am in the studio with my dear, brilliant sister, Deborah Morton of Inside. The show's called Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, ladies.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And I'm very happy I got a Valentine's Day gift. The only Valentine's Day gift that I got
I knew
for Valentine's
you needed
Day,
a gift, Shelley.
a pair of socks.
Okay, it
Branded
sounds
socks.
weirder on the radio than it actually is.
A pair of socks. I'm going to treasure these, Deborah. Thank you so much for thinking of me.
You're so welcome.
So today, you want to talk about something, and Martine is here. We'll introduce Martine in just a couple seconds. But you call it core concepts. Talk about that.
No, it's the lock-in effect. I am meeting with people every week and having the same conversation over and over. So it must be something that we need to talk about. And it's that people want to move, but they can't. They're locked in. They have equity. They've outgrown their home. They're maybe a little tired of their home, but what they're seeing on the market, out there in the market to make a move is not appealing enough to get them to give up their low mortgage rate. Either their home is paid for or they have a 3% or less mortgage, and to let that go to make a move to a higher priced home with a higher interest rate is not making sense to people. So I feel like what the conversation is shifting on a daily basis from houses, bedrooms, bathrooms, lot sizes, garages, and neighborhoods to financing. And, I'm the housing expert. I'm the real estate expert. But to help people to solve problems, and that's what we're talking about here, is helping people wrap their head around how they can use the equity from their home and get into another home. Because the challenge is moving the money and making it make sense, because smart people can't comprehend why should I do this?
Right.
I want to move, but it doesn't really make sense to them. So having options, and I want to repeat, not everybody needs to move, but knowing what your options are is helpful. The two classes of people we're talking about, obviously first-time buyers, affordability is an issue. Getting money for them to have down payments that are larger than a 3 to 5%, having their family help them by tapping into their parent. Your parents don't want to move. Fine. You have all that equity you're sitting on. You can tap into equity in a home and use it as a gift to help a first-time buyer get into a home. That's one segment of the market, one reason you might want to know about your options. The other segment of the market are people who've been in their home a long time, and a two-story home needs to get to downsize to a smaller home or a one-level home. That's the other segment. Two different groups of people, two different solutions. There's always solutions. So we brought Martine Naidu from Aclara Lending back again. She's been with us before to talk about some of the options that maybe are not on people's radar about how do you make this move? How do you make this make sense? Because it's hard for people.
Well, you said earlier when you started off, you said you're having these conversations a lot. How frustrating it must be to people who have been in their homes a long time. They want to move, and it's always been something very easy to do, right?
Yes.
What are you hearing on the customer's part, a consumer's part, about the frustration that's there?
Well, the frustration is on top of the normal stress and fear about moving. So moving has its own, it always has. It's a lot. What do I do with my stuff? The house needs some repairs. It needs some updates. That's a normal level of stuff. But when we layer in the concern about the money part of it, that's when the conversations get more complex. Mm-hmm. And I am seeing people kind of roll back from even having the conversation because it overwhelms them. And when they're overwhelmed, they don't even want to hear about all the solutions. So, again, I'm not going to push anybody anywhere, but there are solutions available to people to help the money part make sense for them. And that's why Martine's here today.
Thank you, Deborah. Happy Valentine's Day to both of you. Yeah, so the part about financing is really what people are stuck on right now because they paid their homes off. They don't want a mortgage payment. And so they're but they want to move. And it's not always downsizing. I learned a term this week. They say it's right sizing.
Yeah, that is right sizing.
Yes. It's location for most of them, right? They want to get closer to their grandkids. They want to get closer to their families, those kinds of things. They might want a different lifestyle. So
not necessarily a smaller home,
right,
but a different layout of the home, two-story to one-story.
Right. A lot of people want a ranch.
Right.
And so they want to make the move, but the thought of having a mortgage payment after years of not having one is really what's getting them.
So when you can't you I can't.
Yes, we can sell one home,
right,
buy another home. There's the timing and the flow of that feels complex to people, but we've always done it. It's a normal part of my work is to make that process easier for people. And good agents like those of us at the agency Atlanta, this is what we do and we know how to do it. But then there's other scenarios where people are not necessarily ready to move and they have all this equity. So maybe somebody's in a home that still suits them, but their grown children or child wants to buy a home, but they can't wrap their head around affordability, down payment, all of those things. One option is to use the equity from your current home to help somebody buy a home. Right. And, I don't want to get into I did it on my own. This is not about ego. This is about helping people you love actually find solutions. And
it's also a common human nature to want your children to do better than you did. That's why you worked so hard.
Right. And they're adult people, let's say 40 and under, it's not the same market as it was 25, 30 years ago. Right. The affordability changes they really are impacting people. That's why Congress has this bill. It's passed the House. It's going to go in front of the Senate. What bill is
that?
There is, it's got a long name.
Well, not the name, but what does it talk about?
It's an Affordability Act where they are trying to loosen up federal regulations on building to increase supply. And the Senate has its own version of a bill. And I think by the time they hammer it all out, they'll come up with something. Less regulation, less things tying down the bureaucracy behind building. We have a bill 812 in the Georgia House as well. So there are proposals out there to help loosen things up to make building easier and more accessible. But let's face it, if it's sitting in Congress, we're not going to actually see any tangible benefits for quite some time.
Right.
So
why, Deborah, you've been doing this a long time. Why, if politicians know, right, not any particular side, just politicians, if they know that these things cause glut and slowdown of commerce, why do they do it?
Well, there's so many different facets of it. Like part of it is environmental regulation.
Okay.
Like a builder developer wants to, it might be a swamp. There's a protected bird. Like there's so many things. I know I'm going simplistic just for effect here.
Right.
But there are things that have to happen. Nobody wants the environment to be disregarded. Right. Nobody wants local control taken away. Everybody wants to know what's coming on and have some. So it's just the layers and layers of bureaucracy and bureaucracy slows things down. When I was at the Greater Atlanta Home Builders Association meeting, it's the bureaucracy, the slowdowns that time is money. And so builders also financing builders, freeing up less restrictions on giving them the money they need to build at scale. And as I say this, we all remember 2007. We don't want builders going crazy either, but it's all tied together. You can't separate out one factor from the other. So,
Martine, are there a lot of regulations? Have you seen new regulations in the mortgage business in the last couple of years?
We have. So they're adjusting the credit score, what you can qualify for. They're lowering that. And they're also giving out more grants and down payment assistance to help people get into the ownership piece of the market. And
that's for everybody. Like any mortgage company can do that.
Things are changing always.
Gotcha.
Like even before... things, it's always fluid. There's always new programs. There's always things happening but the conversation is still for somebody. If you don't have the conversations because it feels overwhelming, I'm like, oh gosh, people are just throw up their hands and they stay right where they are. And, Martine, the baby boomers that won't move.
They won't
we need
move.
your houses, please.
They're the biggest homeowners group right now of houses that are 3 bedrooms and up, and they're sitting on $17 trillion of equity, which is huge because
Right.
it's their money, but put it to work. It's not just about gifting to your kids, but it could help you with health care. It can help you with rental properties. There's so many things. It's your money. Use it.
404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Again, the numbers are 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Those are the numbers for you to call in and ask Deborah Morton any real estate question that you may have. Again, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. We will be right back. Everybody hold on, and we're coming right to you. Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and my 2 ladies in with me, Deborah Morton and Martine. Let's go to Ann. Ann, what's your question?
Hi, y'all. We've got bulldozers on the land right behind us now, just as we were about to put our house up for sale this year. We're wondering how this might affect the price of our house. The construction won't start for about a year or so behind us, but still.
When you say behind you, what do you
Literally.
So are you in a neighborhood and there is a subdivision being built immediately behind you?
Yes, adding on to an additional very nice subdivision, but still.
So the homes that are being built, you expect to be at a higher value or a different quality of the homes in your neighborhood?
I think they will probably be nicer, yes. A little nicer. We're pretty nice, but I think they'll be more expensive.
So there's 2 things. Somebody who wants new construction may not be the buyer for your home at all. So it will have no impact at all. Pricing is going to matter, and new construction is usually priced higher than resale homes. But I think the more pressing consideration for you is, how does your backyard look? Because if somebody walks out back and there's literally tractors and dump trucks and things parked behind you, now your home no longer has that private backyard feel that you enjoyed all the years you lived there. Is that true? Yeah.
It's true. It was timberland that we were told would be timberland forever, and surprise.
Yeah. So this happens a lot because there isn't a lot of land available, and we keep talking about how we need homes. So like if there's vacant land behind you. Now, there's a couple of things. Like, are you in a press, like a timeline? You have to move soon, or
we've plunked down a lot of money on the land, and we really want to move. We don't have to move, but I can't see us waiting another 2 years.
Okay, so would it be possible for you to put up a fence and some shrubs and some to create a better sense of privacy behind you in your backyard?
Yes, and I've actually been in touch. I had a letter from 20-something years ago when this all was approved, and from the developer promising a 30-foot evergreen buffer and a 50-foot rear setback, which they're honoring.
Good for you.
But I don't know. That was nice. That was a fun find to find that letter. I don't know when exactly they'd be planning that, because right now they've just chopped down all the trees and the bulldozers are moving all the dirt.
Right. So they're responsible for this. That setback is on their land. I'm talking about on your land. Put a privacy fence up, plant some shrubs. That investment could go a long way to helping you, and that's in your control. So the problem you have right now is you have no control over what's happening on the land next to you. That's normal. And if you want to move, you're going to have to take control over the things you have control over, which you can, the cost of a privacy fence and landscaping is not that great. Next week, we're going to have Scott Chatham with Chatham Landscaping on. So I'll have him speak to this again, but that is the easiest way to put your home in order so that you can put it on the market. Now, on the pricing factor, new construction, the homes are either going to be larger or smaller. The lots are either going to be larger or smaller, and the pricing, that is not going to be as relevant to you because, again, somebody who wants new construction, how old is your home?
1999.
Okay, so it's not that old. And it probably is in good condition, I'm assuming, that there's a level of condition, but it's not going to compare to new construction with a builder warranty and new roof, new all the things. It's apples and oranges. So there is a buyer for your home, but what you can do is just control, like somebody who wants to buy in a home in a nice neighborhood, and the backyard matters. You can control how the exterior looks, but I don't think you should wait 2 years to sell your home. Just fix the things you can fix.
Okay.
All right. And,
Okay, thank you.
and
Yes.
before you go, I want you to write this down, InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, and get in touch with Deborah Morton and get her some questions and have a deeper conversation, because she might be able to put you
I'm
in.
happy to talk. You can send me some pictures of your backyard so I can see
Okay.
what you're talking
All right.
about.
Inside Georgia Real
Thanks so
Estate.
much, y'all.
No problem. InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. 404-872-0750. 1-800-WSB-TALK. We will be right back.
Honestly, I put off building a website way longer than I should have. Then I tried Wix Harmony, and it was way easier than I expected. I just described what I wanted, and I had an incredible-looking website. The best part? I could change anything myself or ask my AI agent for help. I had everything my business needed right there. So, if you've been procrastinating, this is your sign. Start building a website for free at wix.com/harmony.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's called Inside Georgia Real Estate with Deborah Morton. It's also called Relationship Help Off Air with Deborah Morton, because she helps me with my relationships, and
It
I
is
love
Valentine's
and I
Day.
love her so much.
Yes.
Also here is Martine. Deborah, before we go to these callers, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Before we go to these callers, our previous caller Ann mentioned the term setbacks. What
Yes.
can you explain what that is?
Yes, a setback is a distance. It's a measure of distance that's usually written into zoning by the county that says how close you can build to the property line. So if she had a 30-foot setback in the letter she was referring to, that means there had to be 30 feet from the property line in. So that's like a nice buffer of green space. So part of when we talked about the bureaucracy that builders go through, every county and district and city has different rules and regulations based on their long-term land use plan. So we all see all of the subdivisions going up, or townhomes or whatever. There will be setback rules written in, and that's the distance and how much green space is included. So if it's a townhome community, they can only build so close to the edge of the property line. There's also going to be requirements there about the green space, parking, all of that. It's all dictated by the county government or
Gotcha.
the city government or whoever's the regulating authority there. So setbacks are an important part with what we're talking about. It's also part of that, the delays. When I talked about the bureaucracy, these conversations take a long time to figure out when developers are starting to build.
Absolutely. 404, thank you for that, because I didn't know, and I'm sure many didn't
Yeah, we
know.
skipped right over it. So let's go.
404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Those are the numbers to call. Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Thanks for holding so long. How can we help you today?
Sure, I'm happy to.
Your question, Maggie?
I do. We own rental property in a different state. It's quite far away, and we like having the extra income come in, but it's just gotten too hard for us to maintain and manage from a distance standpoint. So we'd like to roll into a new piece of property closer. Is there a way to do that and avoid paying capital gains taxes on our first property?
This is like a softball question for me. Thank you. So there's a 1031 exchange allows you. So that is not a permanent forever thing, but it was renewed the last time, and it's your CPA can advise you on that. Let me preface, I'm not a CPA. I can't advise on taxes. However, what most investors do when they own a property that is income producing, they sell one. You have to identify 3 properties and make the move, but you make a purchase within a set period of time, and then you don't have to pay. You're actually deferring your capital gains. The capital gains tax doesn't go away, but it's deferred.
Right.
And that's what a lot of investors do. Your CPA is your first point of contact to talk to. But if you're here in Georgia and you want, we call them intermediaries that handle the money and hold the money from the sale of one to the other. If you'd like to send me a message on InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, and I can connect you with an attorney who will act as an intermediary for you and help you with the exchange.
Okay, wonderful.
All right.
Thank you so much.
InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, Maggie. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.
Let's go to Charles. Charles,
are you there?
Hey.
Hey,
Good afternoon.
tell
How
us
are you?
what's good. Thanks for listening. What's your question today?
Well, I've got a situation where I've got quite a bit of equity in a home, and but I need to move closer to my children's school.
Yes.
So I was either thinking about renting the property because I got a great interest rate, or take an opportunity. They have some term called bridging where you keep your interest rate, and I didn't understand that term.
A bridge loan. Well, Martine's sitting next to me, so I'm going to let her take this. But a bridge loan is different. There's really not a lender that I've ever heard of that will allow you to keep your interest rate. Renting your home, keeping your current home, and buying another and keeping that as an income-producing property. From a real estate perspective, you need to check with your community association and make sure there are no rental restrictions. If it's unrestricted, that is a great way to take your current home and create income on a monthly basis, and you go buy a different home. Now I'm going to hand it over to Martine.
Yes, thank you. So if someone's suggesting a bridge loan, what that does, that closes the gap between when you're buying a new home and selling your existing home. So that allows you to go ahead and make the move while you still own your other home. But in the long run, it's your goal is to sell your existing home, but it allows you the affordability to go into the new home a little bit quicker. Does that make sense?
Charles.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, thank you so much.
So, Charles, I want you to send me a message on InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com because you actually have several really good options. And, of course, being close to your kids matters most. And, we can help you get there. What it would do is my next steps would be to analyze your current home, the value of it, what the resale value of it is, and then also help you figure out what the rental opportunity is there as well. So we would look at all of that to see if the money you would make each month is actually worth it, or would it be smarter to sell it and use the equity to buy a home closer to where your kids live.
Do you have a mortgage on your existing home?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's also, if you carry that mortgage, your rate will not change on your existing home, whether you live in it or you rent it out right now. But when you go to buy another property, one property has to be your primary and one has to be an investment. And that's where the rates start to change.
Does that make sense, Charles? Yep. So, Charles, do you have any more questions, Charles? Sorry.
No, thank you. You've been very thoughtful.
So go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, and get in touch with Deborah so you guys can, so she can help you. Okay?
It's a great
Thank
scenario.
you so much.
Yeah, it's a great place for everybody to be in. If you're in a home that really would make a good rental, that's a great way to step into having an investment property. Now, what I would encourage everybody to do is make sure that the maths.
Right.
Are you going to make enough each month to make it worthwhile so that income producing, because there are costs associated, deferred maintenance, damages, there's a lot that you can do. But if you're in a home with a rate under 3% and you have equity, and the market will justify a rent that will more than cover your mortgage, it does put you in a very good position.
But you have to the math has to math.
Yeah, there's options. I mean, you have the equity in your house. Do a home line of credit, home equity line of credit. Now, that rate's going to be different from your primary mortgage rate, but it allows you to take that money and be able to afford to buy the new property while you keep your existing property as well.
Yeah, there's good options.
404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. Those are the numbers to call for all of your real estate questions. Let's go to
Ed.
Ed, okay? Ed. Go ahead, Ed.
Hi, Ed. What's your question?
We purchased this house like 4 years ago, and we have a shed that's on it, a she shed, and it extends over our neighbor's property.
Oh, that's
and
fun.
We didn't realize it. But it's been there since 2002. The house was built in 98. And from what I understand, there's a law out there that says if you don't contest something, a property incursion, within 7 years, it belongs to you.
There's some fun rules on the books that have been there a really long time.
Right.
I actually sold a home year before last with the same situation, and the better solution in this particular case was the property owner behind that shared part of we had a surveyor come out, and they did a little property swap for the land, so it cleared that up.
How did that work? What does you mean?
It So this was discovered actually in the process. The home, we were already under contract. I represented the buyer. Mm-hmm. The buyer was purchasing a home. And once we started going through to closing, the closing attorney came up. It came to light that this shed was over the property line. So we tracked down the people who owned the home behind, and it was an investor who owned the house behind it. And we ended up just doing a survey and swapped, like if it was 2 foot here, swapped 2 foot there, and redid the boundaries.
Understood.
But that's only one option. There are options. I would prefer, Ed, to not comment on whether or not you have a right to take. There are laws on the books, but I would defer to an attorney on that one, because I don't want to tell you something and all the listeners and say, yeah, we.
Well, a long time ago, they would do a gentleman's handshake, right?
Yeah.
Neighbor to neighbor,
Yep.
and then as the neighbors move, then you have this problem comes up quite a bit.
My real estate instructor would be shaking her finger at me right now for dodging this question.
So Ed, let me ask you this, Ed. You own the shed, so your shed is partially on their land. Are they upset about that? Is there like a problem, or you just are you asking a question on something that may become a problem?
No, nobody said a word, and I just didn't want this to bite us in the behind, 10, 15 years down the road.
When you go to sell your home, it will come up. Like
Right.
There is something. So send me a message. I'll send you the letter of the law, and then you can decide for yourself how you want to approach that.
Okay. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, Ed, go to InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. We'll be right back. Jerry, hang on. We're coming right to you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the last segment of Inside Georgia Real Estate with my dear sister, and she's helped me so much in so many facets of my life. No, really, I just really want to tell everybody that Deborah Morton, really, she knows Georgia real estate, but she also knows life. And you could tell how helpful you would be in this transaction, because you're talking to people at a very exciting yet stressful time in their lives.
Yes, I have a heart for people, and every good real estate professional has the same heart. It is helping people find solutions to their life challenges.
Right.
It's building net worth, building equity in their homes, making good investment decisions. But it's so much deeper than that, because it's about family, it's about relationships, and it's about helping you achieve your goals. So yes, it is. And
yeah, I can just going through
y'all who know Shelley know what I have on my hands here.
Right, and she has been so helpful. I can't believe I pay a therapist a lot more money. I could get all the help from Deborah Morton. But let's take
go to
Jerry.
Jerry, what's your question?
I grew up in a suburb of Chicago back in the 50s, and the house we had, it was a subdivision similar to Levittown, Pennsylvania type thing, where it was a one-bedroom house with an unfinished upstairs. It was just drywalled upstairs. Just wood floor, nothing fancy. And they were kind of built to where you can finish it yourself. Could that be done today with this housing shortage where, you don't buy the
Hey, Jerry, hurry up. We're running out of time. What's the question?
Yes, no, he's asking about.
Could it be done today?
Absolutely.
A similar type subdivision.
We're seeing a lot of, especially prevalent in the active adult communities, where it's a 2-bedroom floor plan, and then they'll do an unfinished loft with a stub for a bathroom upstairs. So it could be finished out to be a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. But that's a very desirable floor plan that we're seeing. I see it a lot in the active adult communities, but it can be done anywhere, and
especially first-time home buyers.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's affordability.
I'm a huge fan. I've been following and I track carefully container housing. There are solutions out here for. There's a company called Boxable that I watch very carefully. Pre-built, prefabricated homes put in whether it's containers or the smaller footprint. They're all duplexes and triplexes are so popular in other parts of the country. We don't have enough of those here. It's higher density housing. And when you get further out into the suburbs, people seem to be against high density housing. And I understand why. But we do need to look at solutions. And some of that could be going into metro areas and like the West Side, where they're tearing down old dilapidated houses and putting in duplexes, triplexes, and smaller footprint homes.
Does that answer your question, Jerry?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. That's the number. InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. Martine, last words before we go?
Put your equity to work.
Deborah, last words before we go on this beautiful Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. If you want to buy your sweetie a house for Valentine's Day, just give me a ring.
Inside Georgia
That
Real
was a great pun.
Yeah. I just got that. InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. Ladies, I want to tell you both, you're so lovely, you're so beautiful, you're both brilliant, and you become dear friends of mine. Happy Valentine's Day to both of you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
See y'all next week.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
In a world where business owners everywhere are burning out,
I just can't do it anymore,
and are losing their identities to AI.
Who even am I?
Only one website builder can save humanity from generic websites.
It's here. It's really here.
Wix Harmony, where AI meets hands-on control so you can build the website you want, exactly the way you want. Try it for free at wix.com/harmony.